Hello and welcome to my channel, Megan Flips It DIY, the Halloween editions. Don't forget, if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and if you could, leave a comment below. This will help my channel to grow. Now, let's get to crafting. Welcome back to Megan Flips It DIY. So, I, on YouTube, enjoy watching the mystery box challenges, usually hosted by Creative on the Cheap, and I thought I would have, out of my stash, my daughter Aleina put together a mystery box for me, including 2 items that I must use in my DIYs. So this will be the first time I'm seeing this, even though I know pretty much everything in my craft room. I don't know what she has in this box. So I'm going to start. Okay, I told her to wrap the mystery items in a Dollar Tree bag, and the theme of the mystery box is Halloween, so everything that I make is all Halloween themed. I can add from my craft room, but I have to use these items specifically in all of my crafts. So I will save the mystery items for last, and those must be used. Not an option, must be. So the first item is a carvable foam pumpkin or styrofoam pumpkin from the Dollar Tree. The next item are these bats. They have the little clips on the back, also from Cracker Square from the Dollar Tree. I have these jack-o'-lantern ornament pieces, also from the Dollar Tree. I think everything she picked out in here I bought from the Dollar Tree. Okay. I also have these wired pipe cleaners, tinsel stems they're called, from the Dollar Tree. I have purple and orange. And I have, oh, the glitter's everywhere. I have the orange pumpkins to use and the purple pumpkins to use, also from the Dollar Tree. Okay, I also have these, like, I don't know if you can see the glitter is just falling, but I guess that would be a silver, they are little skulls covered in a silver glitter from the Dollar Tree. Okay, all right, down to the mystery items. She went pretty easy on me. All of this stuff will be super easy to use. First item, I know what this is. My Snow White glitter. This is from Walmart in their craft section that I have to use in a DIY. I see the little loose hairs in the back. And I know what this is too. The Witch's Brooms, also Crafter Square from the Dollar Tree. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit, but I have a couple of ideas. So stay tuned. I'll be back in a couple seconds for you, but it might be a day or 2 for me. All right, wish me luck, and we'll see you crafting. DIY number 1. Let's start this first DIY off with this carvable pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, the silver glitter covered skulls, and the purple and orange glitter covered pumpkins. We have some pipe cleaners and some glitter covered bats and some extra picks I had left over from a previous craft. We're going to start painting the pumpkin once we remove the pumpkin stem with Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster, and we're going to give this pumpkin 2 really good coats, and then I just stick it upside down on a skewer and I poke it into some of my floral foam. Next, we're going to take the skulls, the pumpkins, and the bats, and we are going to cut 7 pieces equal lengths of this heavy-duty wire that I've had for some time. And just placing a little bit of glue on the bottom of the wire, I shove those into the pumpkins so that they stay on the wire and they don't fall off later on. Once I get all of the pumpkins and the skulls and the bat glued onto their wire, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree plastic bag and the Dollar Tree spray glue, and I'm just going to give each of these a nice little coat of the spray glue because the glitter just falls off nonstop, and this is my best solution to fixing it. Once the pumpkin's dry, I'm going to go in with Apple Barrel's Pavement and Elephant Gray. I put a little bit of pavement into the plastic bottle and dilute it out with a little bit of water, about half and half. And then I, with a fan brush, and brush on the diluted paint mixture from the top of the pumpkin to the bottom of the pumpkin. I accidentally did go in here heavy-handed, but you won't see that spot at the top of the pumpkin whenever this is all complete. Once I'm done adding the elephant gray to it, I set it aside to dry. Next, I'm going to need to boil some water. Once the water's boiling, I'm going to pour it into a bowl. I have these skeleton hands that I had from a previous project, and I was looking to soften them and form them into how I wanted them. I was able to soften the fingers, and then that was it. So I have this lid from a container, and I wanted to set it in the hands, which is why I wanted to boil the water to bend the hands around, but it didn't work. So moving on, I'm going to take my Cricut X-Acto knife and cut holes the size of the bottom of the hands in the top of the pumpkin so that I can push the skeleton hands down in. Now I'm just going to set my lid up there to make sure that my hands are positioned correctly, and I'm going to go in with about a stick of hot glue and make sure that those hands are not going to move anywhere. Then with the little E6000, I'm going to place on the skeleton hands where the container lid will sit, and then I secure them with an immediate hold of hot glue just around the edges at a few spots. Then I'm going to set that aside and pull out all of my leftover purple flower picks that I have from previous DIYs. And I'm just going to push them down in, spreading out the flowers with the eyes, with the flowers that don't have the eyes, until I find that it's looking how I'm imagining it to look. Once I get all of these flowers pushed down into the pumpkin, and guys, this is really easy to do. It's not hard to push these wires down in there. I also have these little stick picks. I don't know, they look like little tree limbs, miniature tree limbs, I guess. And I'm going to push those down in there as well for a little dimension. Once I get those pushed down in there, I'm going to take the pumpkins and the skeletons that I had hot glued to the wires, and I'm going to also push those down in around the purple flowers and the little bits of miniature tree limbs, I guess, or twigs. I'm not sure what to call them. If you know what those are called, leave a comment in the comment section below. But here I'm putting in the pumpkins and the skeletons, just sticking them right down into the pumpkin, just like I did to the flowers, and then positioning them from there. Once I'm done, I want to tie in the lid at the top, sitting in the skeleton hands. And so I take some of the floral leaves. They're black. They were on the bottom of the purple flowers, which, guys, if you don't want to do the purple, I do believe Dollar Tree also has these same flowers in black. But I'm just gluing those black leaves and a couple of the flower petals around the top. I took 2 of the petals, cut them, and then I twisted them so I could make a smaller flower with an eyeball in it. And I'm going to glue that to the front of the lid that the that's sitting in the skeleton hands. Oh my gosh, this is just getting so hard to talk. I apologize if I have anybody extremely confused right now. But then to finish it off, I add a spider just behind that flower with the eyeball in it. And I push the bat down into the front. DIY number 2. This next DIY, we are going to use the pipe cleaners. I'm going to take just a handful out of the bag, but I think on the first one I used 10 pipe cleaners, and we are making pipe cleaner pumpkins. So I put 10 of them together and I twist them with my needle nose pliers, and I spread out the pipe cleaners. And then I have this knot ball. I don't know, it's a ball I made out of nautical rope. And to get the shape of the pumpkin, I wrap the ends of the pipe cleaner around and squeeze it down, thinking that this would help me keep the shape of my pumpkin. This one was really hard. So I tried to glue the pipe cleaners that were directly across from each other, ended up with more on one side than the other, but I did get it together and figured out. And then the extra pipe cleaner bits at the top, I just curl around, and then I take the Dollar Tree, I don't know, they're little pieces of limbs that they sell, and I glue those on top of that pumpkin for the stem. The next pumpkin I go to make, I wanted it a little bit smaller, so I went with 12. I twisted them together like the pumpkin before, but this time I thought I could control it better to get a more even pumpkin. So I started gluing the pipe cleaner that were directly across from each other. And with the excess pipe cleaner ends, I used those to wrap around to the bottom of the pumpkin so that it would look a little bit more fuller than the larger pumpkin. And then I go in with one of the Dollar Tree wood pieces and glue that on top of the pumpkin for a stem. Then I have these 2 leaves that came from a floral pick. I cut those up and I am hot gluing those to the pumpkins just up by the stem, so that I have a little leaf on top of the pumpkin. Then I'm going to take the green pipe cleaners and some black mesh tube and push the pipe cleaner into the mesh tube, hot glue the end, wrap it around a paintbrush, and hot glue the other end. And I make 4 of these. And to hide the ends, I glue them underneath the stem inside the pumpkin, if that makes sense, and I do that for both. DIY number 3. We're going to need these wooden jack-o'-lantern ornaments, these witch's brooms, and these orange pumpkins. We're going to put a pumpkin on a skewer and spray it with the Dollar Tree glue. Then we're going to take these baby shoes from the baby shower section and give them a good coating of the apple barrel pavement. While they're drying, we're going to hot glue the 2 of the jack-o'-lantern wood ornaments together and give them a good coating of the apple barrel jack-o'-lantern on both sides, but we're not really worried about the stem because that will be covered up. Once that's set aside to dry, we're going to take a hot knife and put grooves into the side of the shoes, and then we are going to cut the pumpkin in half. And that's how that should look. Then we're going to take a little hot glue and glue half that pumpkin piece to the nose of the jack-o'-lantern. And then I'm going to go in with this skeleton material that I had left over from a previous project, just to make sure I can give my witch gnome a hat. We're going to take these spiraled purple pipe cleaners, stuff them down into the shoes to give them a sock look. And then with a little E6000 and hot glue, we're going to set our jack-o'-lantern gnome face up on the shoes. Then I'm going to go in with some more of the purple pipe cleaners and cut them into thirds, just a handful. I'm not really sure how many I had, but I just took a handful and cut them into thirds. Then I'm going to take my skeleton material and hot glue it to the back of the jack-o'-lantern. Once I have that glued on, I'm going to gather the top of the hat up and tie the end together with a piece of the purple pipe cleaner. Say that 3 times real fast. It's a tongue twister today. So I'm just securing the back of the hat. Originally, I had wanted it to fall to the side, but as I was working with this witch gnome, I decided if it's gonna be a witch, the hat's gotta stand straight up. So I do, and you'll see in a little bit here, I do fix that. So then I take these purple pipe cleaners, bend them in half, and I push them up underneath the hat around both sides of the nose and give our witch some purple hair, because why not? It's Halloween and witches have purple hair. Some have green. You know, it's Halloween. We're going with it. So once I get the pipe cleaners all folded in half and stuffed up in there, she's really starting to come together. Look how pretty she is, or spooky, however. So this is when I decide. So I take a skewer and clip off the pointy end and secure it to the pumpkin with some hot glue. I shove that inside the hat and close the hat up with a little hot glue. That's it. Then I take the witch's broom and remove that silly purple bow that's not very Halloween-y to me. And I cut down the broom and give it a little spray of the Dollar Tree glue and go in with my Snow White glitter from Walmart just to put a little magic on the broom. And there was Aleina who was watching me do this. Then I had a pot from St. Patrick's Day. I glued a ping pong ball inside, also from the Dollar Tree. Guys, I do a lot of craft shopping at the Dollar Tree. I have quite a collection of Dollar Tree craft supplies. I also got these little balls at Easter time, probably 3 years ago. And I'm giving them a coat of the elephant gray and the country gray. I believe this is country gray. The other ones I do are elephant gray, but once it dried a lot darker than the bottle color. So I go in with some Snow White and I just kind of lighten it up a little bit. And then once I get all of the white on, I give it a little spray of the Dollar Tree spray glue, a little bit more glitter, a little bit more glue, set it aside to dry. Once it's dry, I cut off all of the little balls. And then I make sure they're all going to go in there well, and I glue them on to the ping pong ball until it looks like bubbles coming up, out, and down over the front of the, what is once a pot of gold, a pot for gold, is now a cauldron. Then I take the broomstick and glue it to the gnome. And here are all of my DIYs. Let me know what you think. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, click that thumbs up button. Don't forget to click subscribe and choose to be notified every time I upload a video. Have a great day, everyone.